Are we live?
We're live.
Hello folks all around the world and hello Hairbrain community. Today we're going to do something really fun over here and really classy. I'm with my buddy over here, Steven Stetland. Steven, come over here.
Hey.
We're in his studio, Chop Chop Bang Bang.
Hey everyone.
We're going to do some awesome hair cutting over here. As you see, I have really nice sections over here and Steven did really awesome color. And as you see, I already pre-sectioned some of it. We're going to cut on the sides, on the top and the other side, but we're going to start first with the back. And we call this cut like a line of graduation. Why is that? Because we're going to cut two different shapes, but in a very interesting way. We're going to start from scissor over comb from the back because we want to have this part very short, very close to the nape over here, and then we're going to go very strong at the front with the lines. But instead of actually doing a regular graduation, I want to do something else for you guys. I want to do scissor over comb graduation and then continue with the precision cutting. So I'm going to scissor over comb everything that you see over here. So we're going to start from the bottom and go right in. And in this way, we're just trying to achieve the best result possible immediately. All right, as you see already, the shape is starting to shape already here. It's starting to go up. And it's not easy, of course, because you're going to do a lot of hair here, but that's the point, to show how this technique can help us out to reach the precision result really awesomely. And Steven, when we talked about the color for this cut, remember we talked about doing a little bit of a graphic color and some kind of wild at the top, but remember the back and the sides were to be dark. Can you tell me a little bit more about your thought process about the color?
So when we were having a conversation about the haircut, and as somebody who cuts hair and does color, when Michelle came in and I saw that she had this really beautiful kind of dark between level 2, level 3, I thought it would be a great background for some very bright, vivid color. And so we left the color dark underneath to make the other color kind of just be much more accentuated, much more dramatic, have much more pop to it.
All right, that definitely makes sense because when we talked about what I'm going to cut today, I really love this darker piece all over at the back, as you see, and the sides. And the colorful area on the top, that's going to be the one that's going to pop out a little bit later. And as you guys see, I'm cutting very short at the back because that's going to be our starting point for the whole cut.
And hello everyone that's watching.
Hello guys. Where are you watching from?
We have Jose Rivera, Barbara Ristic, Daka Provak, Danja Rolik. There's people saying hi, and they're just saying hi,
Let's
Milo.
take a look.
Let's take a look what's going on.
So Ivan was watching, Ivan Duda.
Hi,
Hello.
Ivane. Hi.
And let's go right back a little bit. We have a watcher, Tovik Pinchas from Israel,
Hello.
Hi,
and Melanie from Archibald, PA. Ivan Duda's on watching. Andrea from the UK, Tina King from Pennsylvania,
Nice, all over the place.
Joanne Schmidt from Massachusetts, Jose Rivera is watching. Let's see, and that's Daka Pavlovich.
Stevo Pavlovic.
Yeah,
From
Daniela
Slovenia, he's a really great guy.
Roglic,
Roglic, yeah,
Yep.
all from Serbia or from the region
Serbia.
over
Got
there.
some people from Scotland.
Cool.
Carrie Lynn Muir, Junior from Hawaii.
Hola. Aloha.
As you see, I'm continuing scissor over comb over here. First, I'm taking the big chunks off, and then I'm going to go in a precision a little bit later. But as you see already, I'm creating the shape that I want to have at the back. Now, of course, we're going to do a little bit more a little bit later. But as you see, I'm creating already a graduation that I want to see. Do not be afraid to do scissor over comb, because scissor over comb can actually help you out understand the shape. Right, Steven?
Yes, indeed.
Tell me a little bit more. We were talking about over lunch, something about like in the old days, how they were learning to cut scissor over comb. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, the way that I was taught initially was to use a thicker comb.
Yeah.
initially, just to get a handle on it so that we wouldn't cut it too short, so to say.
Okay.
So not going back through with the tapering comb right away or a regular cutting comb.
Uh-huh.
And then once it got a good skill developed from using the bigger comb, moved to a smaller comb and eventually got tighter and tighter and tighter with the shape.
Yeah.
And creating the scissor over comb shape.
Yeah, that's a really great point. Now, here I'm using the small comb right away because it's more about experience and everything else. But when you're learning scissor over comb in the beginning, it's not easy to do it with a small comb right away. So you need to develop the feelings in your wrists and your hands. Your dexterity has to really work. Because basically, what you do here is actually you're graduating, but on a very short level, as you see. Instead of doing sectioning with fingers, we did straight away with a scissor over comb, because we want to achieve that perfect result right away. Because sometimes I feel like we waste too much time of doing super short cutting with sectioning, but then we have to go scissor over comb anyway. So this is going to be like a directly scissor over comb before we do precision.
And we have people from Norway, we have people from Denmark, we have people from the Borgata Hotel and Casino at Atlantic City.
Cool.
Hello,
Cool,
everyone.
welcome.
We have someone from Scotland. We have
Any
people-
questions, guys? Feel free to ask.
For sure.
We're going to talk about really awesome stuff. As you see over here, her growth is, she has a lot of hair here growing. So this pattern is kind of working against me, but that's why we're going to go short to eliminate that. And as you see, I'm moving my scissors parallel to the comb, and I'm just trying to find a way to get the best shape right away.
Tina's watching.
Ooh, hi, Tina. So this is like an interesting approach. Usually people would not really dare to do it. Have you ever seen, Steven, something like this, like in a regular salon where people just go straight ahead? Or they're kind of a little bit afraid? What do you think?
I'm somebody who goes for it.
Well, you. But what do you think about the others? Do they go for it or no?
I think once they know, if you know your client, you know exactly where you're going with what you're doing, then I would say, yeah, they absolutely go for it.
Yeah.
They don't like start and bring it down with their fingers. They just go right into it.
Well, scissor over comb is an age-old technique. It came from barbering or men's cutting. And in this way, you learn how to control shape and how to control everything else that exists within the haircut. Sometimes people don't really understand that until it's like way late in their career.
Me.
I have a question for you right here. It's from Damien LaRusso.
All right, cool.
And Damien's saying, why not use clippers since you're going so short?
That's a great question because I like to use scissor over comb because it helps me out to develop the sense and the feeling of the cut itself. Sometimes I feel with a clipper, I don't have a good feeling enough how much I want to leave on the head and how much I want to take off. And second of all, I like to practice the skill because it gives me great feeling with the cuts. Of course, you could do it with a clipper, but I always prefer scissor because I like it. And I like that feeling that I am, with my own hands, responsible how much I want to leave, how much I want to cut. Sometimes I feel with a clipper, I don't get that same feeling, so that's why I really avoid it. Nothing wrong with that, because if you can make it really well with a clipper, go for it. So I'm just saying my idea why I'm doing this.
And we have a question from Robin. And Robin asked, do you recommend using product as a cutting tool with this method?
Product, yes. In a sense, if somebody's hair is very dry and you feel like that the scissors are going to be cutting too much of a coarse and dry hair, then you can put a lotion, cutting lotion or something. But not really, because you're cutting very short, you're going to eliminate most of the unnecessary pieces that you're going to want.
So here's an interesting question, because we were just looking at this new fantastic shears that you have. Mm-hmm. Melanie Edwards asks, what size shear are you using? Do you find you have a preference in size of shear?
Okay, that's a really great question. Right now I'm using this Japanese company called Naruto. I'm using 5.8 scissor, and I really generally stick with a 5.5 to 6.2. And Naruto is one of those companies that are looking for the highest end possible. And I'm always looking forward to kind of advance my knowledge, to go forward to really get the best tools that's possible. So that's why I chose to use Naruto today. But you guys can use definitely really any scissors that you love. You can have on Hair Brain website. You can go over there and check out a lot of different brands which they carry. But I personally chose for today to work with Naruto because I feel they give me the edge that I didn't really experience in a lot of different scissors before. It's like a high-end Japanese company that make like very limited series of scissors. So today I'm using their 5.8 blades, which are those. And if you really want to know anything more about it, you can direct message me. I mean, Steven, you can put my Instagram later on, but basically, let's continue talking about the technique. But the scissors are a very important tool, and that's why I chose to use 5.8 today.
So we have a few people watching. Valda Morgan, a few other people have joined up from saying hello from Sydney.
Oh, hi, Valda. How are you?
And Travis W. Smith
Oh, cool. Hi, Travis.
is watching. Hey, Travis.
What's up?
I always laugh because Travis was born here.
Where?
Like
Jersey.
5 minutes away in Neptune, New Jersey.
Wow.
Sorry to blow up your spot, pal. And
As you see, I'm trying to...
he lived in California for a long time. But I'm like, yo, dude.
Well, we talked about it earlier on. I'm here today in Jersey, and Jersey is very famous for a couple of different things. And that is music. Bruce Springsteen is like a few blocks away from here, and John Bon Jovi and the whole that band. Steven, you are from here, basically. I can tell that already, since you've been here so many years. Tell us a bit more about them and how this area ended up being like so central for music.
I think when you're caught up in, you're in between two major metropolitan areas. So you have Philly to the south, New York to the north. The Jersey Shore Sound, which, most famous of all was Bruce, but you also had Southside Johnny and Stephen Van Zandt, and
I think
that's
even
like through the
John
60s,
mentions them in the songs.
60s and 70s, and then going through, and then John Bon Jovi comes around, late 70s, early 80s doing his stuff, and then he gets his record deal, and the place to play was, there was a few different clubs around here that are gone since I've been here, obviously, but the Stone Pony is the one that's had the most longevity. There was the Fast Lane. There was the Asbury Lanes, which is a place that was kind of like a punk rock type of setup. And you had the Student Prince, and there was another place called the Upstage, which was a kind of like an after-hours coffee house place.
Well, I see basically here in your salon on the walls, a lot of records, a lot of like rock and roll memorabilia and stuff, and I really like it because when I think about New Jersey, I think about music, and that's really cool. Here on the sides, we're trying to do something else to blend in the back that we just did. So we're cutting very short over here, graduation, because we're going to extend the line towards the face. And as you see, I'm taking diagonal forward sections because as you see, I'm starting to graduate towards the face because whole this is going to be very short. I'm taking like 1/3 of an inch sections, going slowly forward, and everything is pulled in a previous section. So I'm not over directing too much, I'm just cutting as they fall, so to say. And here I'm trying to combine precision with a really nice free color because I think that's really a statement towards the rock and roll and punk music from the 70s and the 80s, especially here in Jersey. It's like a cool neo-punk moment here. Would you say so, Steven?
Oh, absolutely.
Punk culture that came from London in the 70s and New York as well, it's actually liberating people at the time to try new fashion statements, new things. That's how we got the vivid colors in the hair and mohawks and shaved heads and whatnot. Before that, people didn't really do that. So we're borrowing some elements from that culture and kind of trying to live in the moment now because we're living now, we're not living in the past. So we're trying to find the best. And I think I really love how you did this color for the cut that we want to achieve.
All right, so we have Rose, let me see, Chantel would like to say, can we please go over the haircut?
Okay, so for anybody who's just joining now, hello from New Jersey. We're doing live hair braid from here. So right now we're cutting lines with graduation, as we've said in a headline. So graduation will be basically extending from the back to the front, as you see, from the very short to a little bit longer, and then we're going to do stronger lines at the front. So we're going to combine like a couple of different techniques to achieve the best results for this. And that's why we did the color as well, because we wanted to get that beautiful results.
And Andrea said at the sides, do you take it at a 45-degree angle?
Yeah, 45, but also tend to lift it up a little bit more because I want to have this graduation that is going to help me out, loosen the sides, because I'm going to do a strong line over here.
And Stephen Monenberg asks, using such light tension with your left hand holding the comb, I'd be scared to go short or create a hole. Could you still get the same effect holding the comb more tight and secure?
Yeah, but also depends on your tension. If you do too much of a strong tension, you can get too much of the resistance, because if you pull the hair too much, it's going to go back like a spring. So if you do a very strong tension, be ready to get the different result when the hair is dry. So this is my idea. I'll use mainly like normal tension, because what I want to achieve the normal tension is natural fall. So I'm going to go from this side as well, do a little bit of cross checking. So if I cross checking, I always like to do in the opposite way from the way I started to cut.
And Jose Rivera loved your scissor fade from your IG.
Thank you, thank you. So my Instagram is just Milo Maksimovic, and you can find me there. You can ask me anything regarding hair, regarding education, because I tend to do a lot of education all over US and Europe. And with Hairbrain, we just taught in Poland with John Gast and Dennis Duturi. So shout out to those legends. And this is what we did. Stephen, can you get just a little bit of water spray, something?
Right.
So it's really important to have enough dampness. If the hair gets too dry, then you don't get the same consistency when cutting. So here I want to use a little more dampness. I'm going to spray it on my comb because I don't want to spray her face. It's like one of the old tricks. You just spray it on the comb and you don't put it in the face because you don't want water to go there. Okay.
We're back.
We're back. Sorry
Sorry
guys.
for the pause.
Now we're going to do a little line from the front over here. Is everybody still watching?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
All right, cool.
We have people watching from Saudi Arabia, from Portugal,
Czech
Whoa.
Republic.
from New York City, Scotland, Houston.
Houston, nice. So as you see, I'm doing the line over here because I wanted to create the shape. Now I'm just putting gently over here. As you see, no tension whatsoever. I'm just comb the hair down, and I don't want to use any tension. I can use it with a finger like this, but I chose not to use any tension for this case. I'm going to approach from this side as well. All right. So we started to see the basic shape that we want to achieve a little bit later. I'm going to correct that line a little bit more. And we're going to go a little bit behind the ear now. It's important when you do this carving just to follow the headline and also the hairline around the ears, because you do not want to cut too high up. So you don't want to go really high up. You just want to follow the hairline because you don't want to create any holes.
I see you decided to switch to the Eastern grip.
Mm-hmm.
And for those that have never done it, could you explain it to them?
Do you mean like a thinner part of the comb?
No, the way you're holding your shear right now.
Oh yeah, because it's a body position. I can do this, but you see my angle here. If I do this, I would have to come here, right? So my arm will have to be here. Or I can do it from here, but it's still like a body movement. In this case, I just did not want to move my body too much. Then I just move the scissors. So I can do this, or I can just put it in this position and cut. So it's actually a very neat technique to use with your wrist and not to move your body position.
people just joined us from Alabama, Pennsylvania, and London, and Italy,
Nice.
Ireland.
Welcome, guys. Welcome.
and Belize.
Belize. That should be like a tropical, right?
Yeah, get us out of here.
Yeah, it's heavy rain here, and
Yeah, it is cold and rainy here in the Garden State of New Jersey.
well, rain in the garden. So as you see, I'm cutting some details over here. We're going to revisit this area when it's completely dry, because as you know, dry state and wet state is something else. So I'm just going to pull her ear down, as you see, earlobe. Then I'm cutting a line here, because earlobe is going to return back and cover this. Otherwise, if I would just try the line over it, it could be very high up, and I did not really want to do that. So we have like one sharp line at this side. Now we're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. I'm going to extend the line from this section here, as you see. This section is going to be over there. I'm going to extend it from here all the way back to have this kind of mimic in parallel. So I want to start the graduation from the back, not from the front. So I'm going to do it over here. And I'm going to repeat the same thing like I did on the opposite side. But since this is my right hand side, the opposite side, my fingers were going up. Now my fingers are going to go down. The angle stays the same, about 45. And diagonal sections going through the face. Slowly and easily, and just getting the right shape at the right amount of time. So as you see over here, I'm going to go to the longer pieces and just cut them. Any questions, guys, before we continue?
Let's see. We have a lot of people just chiming in. Somebody from Japan, Yumi Maruda, and Ruby Scheid from Chesterfield, Michigan, Maida Haremic from Washington, D.C., and Paul Grimard from Canada. Let's see, Travis is back watching us again.
Hi, Travis again.
And hey, Travis, I went to see High on Fire the other night. Me and Travis are a big heavy metal fan.
Well, this would be, sometimes in the past, this would be a metal statement, kind of, to have a hot haircut, right?
Let's see.
As you see, I'm continuing with the sectioning here and just following my pattern, just like on the other side. Not over directing, I'm just putting the section continuing sectioning atop on the ones that we already cut. So we're doing that. Alright. We can see how the color will definitely work for us here in this kind of cut, because it will accentuate the details we want to achieve. All right, Stephen, you did really took a lot of time to do this fabulous color. Tell us a little bit more how she looked like, her hair before we started the coloring process.
So Michelle's hair was about a one-length shape. It had been grown out, and when we were discussing the haircut, that was my main inspiration, was what you wanted to do with the haircut.
Yeah.
And so we have the dark background color. So the sectioning is basically a horizontal sectioning from about parietal ridge all the way to the center.
Okay.
And in
Sorry
the
to
back,
interrupt you. So I'm just going to do cross check on the other side. Go ahead.
and it was all done in slices but teased.
Okay.
So we backcombed all the slices about 1/4 to 1/2 inch, and gave myself about 1/2 inch of cushion.
Mm-hmm.
And then lightened the hair with Wella Blondor and
All right.
20 volume. And then went back through and recolored with the Pravana Vivids.
Nice. I think it really works out well with
Especially
this
with
graphic
the
look.
yeah.
As you see, I'm doing a cross check and also forming the shape over here that I want to achieve, because it's going to be the same like on the opposite side. And then we're going to extend the top and the back. All right. So as you see, the choice of scissor is also very important, the length of the scissor. If you use too long of a blade for this kind of cut, you will not be able to maneuver the blade so easily. So that's why I like to use 5.8 or 5.5 or 6. Longer scissors can be really nice, but the point is, can we maneuver with them when we do precision? What do you think, Stephen? I know you can. Is it easier to do precision cutting with a longer blade or with a shorter blade?
Apples and oranges.
Yeah. Red
I
apple.
would say for all my refining work, I definitely use a smaller shear.
Okay.
You know, I would be someone that would go with a 4.5, you know, or 5, just for refining my work. But
As you see over here, I need to cut this behind the ear, so I'm going to pull the earlobe very much down, putting the hair to sit here, and just cutting a straight line.
I have a question from Melanie Edwards. She was asking, was her other side heavier? If so, how do you accommodate for that? Can't tell if it was.
No, it was not heavier, it was the same. But we're still going to do a lot of detailing a little bit later. But right now, we're kind of still following, creating the basic shape here. It's going to be very, very much precision cutting with a graduation in line. And that's going to help us out, these techniques, to kind of achieve the best result. Even here, when I'm taking some hair from the face, I'm taking the parallel cutting here to remove it. And as you see, the cut is starting to follow the shape that I intended in the beginning. Basically, precision cutting is creating the shape immediately, on the spot. You don't want to lose it. So as you see here, I still have some things to work on. So I'm going to work on that a little bit now, but also a little bit later, because I want to achieve the perfect balance. Because when you do mindful cutting, like I always like to say on a previous harebrained events, is like you always going to leave some things as a pointers to show you where you are, what can you do a little bit better or different. You just don't go aimlessly and cut and feel that it's going to be inspirational later on.
No.
No. I mean, you can do it. You look in the mirror.
No winging it.
You could.
No way.
All right. So now we're going to concentrate on the back. So we're going to divide it on the half and start doing 1/2 on the other side. So if you remember, how did I start at the previous section? It was sectioning the cut in this way. So I'm just going to continue on a similar shape. In this way, I'm keeping the profile high because I want to have that. I don't want to keep it short. So I'm going to start from here, from the very back, and just connect the dots, as I would say.
Junior Mandriel says mindful cutting. He loves that.
Thank you. Mindful cutting is basically, I coined that term a year ago or more. Remember, I think we did a cut last time, you and me.
Yes.
Did I say like then or even before? Mindful cutting, to always know why are you cutting certain things. Especially with the precision cutting. You have to have a plan, and then you just follow execution of the plan. And then you have to have a backup plan in a case that it doesn't really work with a certain type of hair, right? How many of you guys have a backup plan when you cut?
Always.
Oh, okay. So sometimes people go with the idea, oh my God, it's going too short, and then just buzz it off. That's why you need to have a backup plan to before you kind of mess up stuff, if you do it anytime soon, how you can pull yourself from that situation. So that's why I like this coin, like a mindful cutting, because you always know what you're doing at any given moment. And as you see, I'm creating the shape at the back. It has like a nice curve. This is what I want. So I'm over directing this at the back just to get that like nice curve over here. And also I'm elevating at the natural fall of this hair. So for example, if the natural fall is here, I'm not going to drag it down or lift it too high up. I just want to follow the natural fall of that particular section that I take.
Guess who just joined the room?
Ooh.
Gerard Scarpese himself.
Hello, G.
Hello,
What's up?
Gerard.
What's up, Gerard? I hope you. We wanted to make a joke that Steven comes up and, hi, I'm Gerard Scarpesi, but we decided he doesn't have enough hair to do it.
I don't have enough hair and I'm too short.
Are you Italian by any chance?
No.
No. There you go. So Gerard, your place is still, preserved.
Ukraine.
You know, they cannot take your place. Or Kelly's as well. Kelly is something else as well. All right, so doing the same thing on the opposite side. Connecting the dots over here, and I'm trying to connect that beautiful, beautiful back. So I'm basically extending the graduation that I did on the sides. And this is also very important. I'm cutting the hair in the natural growth where it would fall. So I'm not lifting too much, or I'm not really putting it really down. As you see, when you comb it on the side, it gently moves. Diagonal section. So basically, with these sections here, I'm mimicking the sections that I took already at the bottom section. Any new questions, guys?
No, but Meredith Kirkland's saying it looks amazing.
Thank you, Meredith. Meredith is a great stylist. She's working education for GHD. I don't know currently where she's based, but she used to be working with us in Boston until recently. But she's continuing her work with GHD as an educator over there. So big shout out to Meredith.
Are the shears 5.8%?
Yeah, 5.8. I have longers as well, but I like to use 5.8 for precision, or shorter, just to have a better control with the whole thing. All right, so we finished the back section here. So we already have a shape that we're going to control a little bit later. So a lot of details are here to be controlled. Now we're going to work on the top section. As you see, the top section gives a lot of color over here. And we're going to decide what we're going to do. In this case, I'm going to divide it on the middle, or subdivide it on the middle, and start cutting first one side. In this case, it's going to be her right-hand side. Over here. Now, what I'm going to do next, since I already have a strong line here, which I'm going to refine later on as well, I'm going to do parallel sectioning. That's going to go from here. I'm going to drag it down to here, but then we're going to texturize the top later on. So parallel sections because we're trying to blend in the top.
Nadia says, love it.
Thank
Always
you.
a pleasure to see neat and clean cuts. And Robin is asking, how do you plan to showcase the color, texture, or not?
Because it's going to be very, very much a precision cutting, but the top is going to be a lot of texture at the very end, and we can style it a little bit on a wilder side, or we can just do clumps. I think the color will pop up wonderfully a little bit later when we dry it all out.
There you go with that Eastern grip again.
Yeah.
I learned that from Ben Brown, because Ben was talking one night. Is that his name, Ben Brown? British guy?
Probably.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's a very easy way to kind of control
It
the
took me
curve.
forever to learn how to do that.
Because you can drop your scissors if you don't.
Oh my god, I just didn't have the feel for it.
Yeah. As you see, the lines are clear and following down the stuff that we want to do. All right, 2 more sections before we go on the other side. I like to work with the very clean and clear sections, and the thickness of the section will decide how the result is going to end up. So in this case, her hair is very fine, so I can get away with a 1/2 inch section, or about 1 centimeter, a little bit more in European measures. And as you see, I'm keeping my fingers on the head because I want to have a strong line here so I don't run away. So I don't really move them until I'm done. In the last section here. Following the line. So this is what I'm talking about. So I'm having my line here, and I'm not moving my fingers until I'm ready completely to go to the other part of the section. So this is when I move my fingers just a little bit. In this way, I have a full control with the technique that I'm doing. Precision requires patience and also strong fingers. I remember many conversations with the legends of our craft, how they all said that you need to control everything with your fingers. If you move your fingers too much with a cut, it's never going to work. So, all right, we have our line at the front. Now we're going to do. All right, so the same process on the other side. Again, parallel sections and cutting it down to the line.
So Damien, who's just joined us, was curious about how you're holding the shears again.
How I'm holding it. So right now, as you would call it, Eastern grip. So I can cut like this. It's fine, but it takes more like wrist movement, or I need to move my body all the way here and cut. So it's kind of a little bit hard sometimes. I mean, I can do it. It's not a problem. But then, this changing the position of your wrist of the scissor makes all the gist. So you comb it. You can cut it like that, or you can cut it like this, but it's still moving your body. If you don't want to move your body too much and you want to be in full control, you just comb it into the section that you need, and you just turn the scissor down and hold it like that. And I love my scissors because they're so precise and fine. I think Naruto did a great job with how they balance the scissor. I just love it.
Yeah, they feel beautiful.
It's one of the rare scissors. I've been using many different scissors. I spent like $20,000 on scissors, believe it or not, guys, in my career, 25 years of doing hairdressing. But I'm always looking for the perfection. I always want to go forward. I want to advance my career. So I'm always looking for something else. And I found something like that in these scissors. So, yeah. But I'm also a fan of Mizutani and B-Max. So if you have them, they're like your Mercedes or BMW. All right, the last section from the top, going all the way down. In this case, have a little bit stronger tension, intentionally. As you see, I'm not moving my fingers. I want to have a control here. And also, thickness of the section, I want to see what's going on underneath. So that's why I don't want to go too thick or too thin, because we just spoke today. You do too thin, like you'll cut forever, right? Okay. All right, since we did the sides, now we're going to do the front. How are we going to do it? Because it looks like a little triangle, because the lines are over here. Now we're going to lift that triangle a little bit over here. So we're going to start from the side with the diagonal section. Over here. And we're going to move it slightly towards the face. So I'm doing this round cutting because I want to clear out the line a little bit later. Another diagonal section. Pulling it straight down. I want to see how it's going to fall. And clearing up the line and going forward. And then the rest of it's almost done. We're going to cut it over here. And we're going to pretty much finish this side for the basic shape that we want to achieve. Mind you, we're going to do a lot of finishing afterwards, after the blow dry, because we want to extend the details later on. Okay, this side too. Gonna need a little bit of water. If we could play music, Steven, what would you play now? We can't because of the live teaching, but what would you play with this check?
Oh man!
Come on, surprise me. I know what I would
play now.
Oh my God. I know what I would do, but like, let me hear your opinion. Some Guns N' Roses, maybe?
Maybe, but I'm feeling the Struts.
Really?
Yeah.
Buzzcocks or something?
No, the Struts are a band out of the UK, and the singer is somewhat of. He's like all the great singers rolled into one. He's like one part Freddie Mercury, and one part Brian Johnson from AC/DC, and one part Jagger, and one part Bowie. And you throw them all into a blender, and you got this guy.
You need to put a little bit of avocado and that's it, right?
We have a music festival here every summer called the See Here Now Festival, and it's about 40,000 people a day on the beach.
Oh my God.
With 2 stages, one north, one south. And this year Joan Jett played, B-52s played, St. Paul and the Broken Bones, Bad Religion.
Oh my God, you have everybody here, right?
It's pretty wild. I mean, and it's a really great event. And
Yeah.
but
Good.
the Struts played, and they stole the show.
Awesome. Now she has a little bit of cowlicks here, so we're going to pay attention to that. So that's why they're going to leave a little bit longer at the top. I want to see how it's going to blow dry because of these guys here. Because if I make a straight line, it could jump. So I want to leave it a little bit longer until we're done. So now we're going to do a little bit more texturizing at the top before we blow dry and do the more of the texturizing. So it's like an inner layering in a sense. So we're going to comb everything in kind of all direction.
I have a question from Rosina Beasley.
Mm-hmm.
She says, for new hairdressers, where do we go to further our basic cutting skills?
Where do we go?
It says, where do we do, but it could be what do we do? Maybe she's back.
Okay, so
What or where do we go to further our basic cutting skills?
well, education is paramount thing for your success. If you don't have education, you cannot go forward. Nowadays, the format is a little bit different because of the internet, but you still need to educate yourself. You need to perfect your skills. You need to find a good mentor and keep going on. So I know this might be, it might sound like, it's a repeated, mantra, but it's actually the truth. You cannot skip certain steps. So we just talked about it today. If you don't have education, you cannot go forward. If you don't know what you're doing, you cannot really have good clients in the future, right? Doesn't matter where you are or what kind of business you think to attract.
100%.
So what I'm doing now, I'm just taking the bulk from the middle because what we're going to do later on after the blow dry is giving it the polish. So right now I'm not concerned about details because a lot of these things are just going to go. So my idea is at this point just to release the bulk from the middle. Because I'm not, this cut is not going to be a beret or something like that when we have too much heaviness, but it's going to have elements of that. So that's why I'm removing this middle bulk that's here.
I love the beret.
All right.
Those classics are soon mine.
So right now, this is about 80% of the cut. Right now, I'm going to do a blow drag, and then we're going to continue cutting. And you see the color popping out over here, Steven.
Here's a question.
All right.
Then Petra Sinovic?
Petra Sinovic. I don't see it.
There we go. You want to hear?
Big greetings to you. What is the best piece that you ever get for a haircut? What did I ever get? Don't cut it too short. I remember when I was learning in the beginning, in the early 90s, and I was this kid coming for a haircut, and I completely misunderstood what he wanted. And I cut his hair very short. He didn't say a thing, but his father came later on. And then my lesson of the day was like, always leave a little bit longer, because you cut it short. If you overcut it, it's done. So that's one of the things. Would you say so, Steve?
You could always put it, you can't put it back.
Yeah. So right now I'm just easily drying here because her hair is nice and fine, so it doesn't give me a lot of issues with blow drying. I didn't put any product before, just water. The colors are beautiful. Steven, really great job. You see how they work now, much better than when it was quite longer. So this is our little homage to that neo-punk movement, you know? Keep it like down to earth, but still with a lot of movement, a lot of color. Any more questions? Keep it coming.
Is that a Dyson?
Yeah, it is.
Dyson.
I mean, Steel, just amazing. I love it.
Thank you so much.
I love the color. I remember seeing him doing the color live, and he said, just for my OCD, and he puts like 17,000 foils on one section. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah,
it was great.
Bleach work right.
Tell us again, how did you do it?
So, what we did with the color was we took slices and worked in a horizontal pattern up and horizontal pattern up in the back to center part. And in order to get everything the way that I wanted it to, I took 1/4 to 1/2 inch sections as slices and backcombed them. Okay? And we used Wella Blondor Lightener 20 volume, applied, let it process to really nice, kind of like level 8, level 9. Didn't want the hair to be too light, or else the color will fade really fast. And these colors are perfect in that level 8, level 9, level 7 area. Yeah, it looks really in order. And then just repeated a pattern of fuchsia and blue and violet and teal. Yeah.
Yeah, people wanted to know what color you used.
So it's Pravana color. It's the Pravana Vivids. And actually I forgot to mention we did use Wella 3-stroke 0 at the root. Yeah. And the funny story was we did the color last week.
Yeah.
And Michelle's hair was really long. It had previous color on it. And I couldn't send her to Thanksgiving without her color looking amazing. So we darkened up everything else that was going on there, even though we knew it was going to be cut off. Because the hair was down to here. And we knew it was going to be cut off because it was a one-length shape. But I needed, and it had been silver.
Uh-huh.
So the length had been silver. So we had to cover everything up so she didn't look like she had half-done color.
Nice.
Couldn't have her looking bad for the family, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Well, you did a great job.
Thank you so much.
So right now I'm going to do a little bit of dry cutting in the top before we go into details. Just to release the bulk again and just to make it more smooth. So right now I'm still using the same brands of scissors, but slightly longer. Naruto scissors, 6 inches, just to help me out with the control of the bulk here. And that will actually help the color stand out because I don't want it to be like in a block. I want it to free flow over there. All right, flying everything. So I want to see how it's going to flow here. That's why I'm going step by step to kind of give it that movement here. So breaking up a little bit of that precision, but it's still going to be a very precise shape. That was the whole idea, to have like a, that's what a precision cutting means. It doesn't mean like you're creating bobs non-stop or flat banks. It's more like knowing what you're doing all the time, right? Stephen?
Say it again, please.
So, you know, when people say about, you know, precision cutting, they just envision it's cutting a bob. It's much more than that. It's actually knowing in the same time and always why are you doing certain things.
Absolutely. There's always the why. You know, whether you're doing a short haircut, long haircut, whether, I mean, who's to not to say that when you're cutting texture in the hair,
Yeah.
you're not doing it with precision.
Oh, exactly. But
Right.
it's precision, it means like knowing precisely what you're doing and having a plan and knowing how to texturize, knowing how to cut the line, knowing where not to cut the line and where to cut the line, and all that stuff together, I would say. It's coming very nicely here. So we're going to do a little bit of details. Do you have anything for the face, just to clean up the face? Steve?
That's what we're looking for. There you go.
Thank you very much. Now we're a little bit of refining behind the ear. This is what we want to see, like a very strong line as a foundation. Here, as you see. I'm gonna clean it up with the buzzer a little bit. And on the other side. It's very important to know actually when to hold off or when to kind of punch the gas, basically, these kind of cuts. In this way, color is my punching the gas, so I can refrain myself from getting super crazy with the cutting, because I like this kind of combination. There. All right, now we're going to work a little bit at the back.
Gina Ortiz says, awesome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gina.
Now kind of refining the back here and create the beautiful movement. It's still at the bottom line, it's still a graduation, even when you do very short scissor or comb. I want to see it how it's falling like this. So seamless. This is my idea why I want to do that. So I'm going to go a little bit more here. So as you know, to recap from the beginning, she had a very long hair at the back, and we did it all scissor over comb because we wanted to achieve this element. So this is basically an element borrowed from barbering, because a lot of men have like very short and then like a little bit longer in the top. So this is what we're doing now to create a beautiful passage. And kind of a way to kind of see this is to comb it up when it's dry, and how the hair falls, it tells you where you need to shade it a little bit to kind of sculpt it. This is how you kind of control the process over here. So of course you can use thinning shears in this case, but I don't want to do it today because I want to show you guys how you can do it with one scissor only. You don't have to use thinning scissors, but you can for a little bit of polishing. Thinning scissors for that are really beautiful if you know what you're doing. Sometimes they would say like a thinning scissor in the hand of the person who doesn't know what they're doing is a dangerous tool. Would you say so?
So a question from
All right.
Patrick Sinovich.
Okay.
How does elevation and over direction affect the guide movement through the number system?
Through
Maybe
what?
he's referring to clipper cutting?
Well, because I didn't do clipper cutting,
No.
so I wouldn't really comment on that. But this is all done scissor over comb. All of these things at the back are done scissor over comb. Refining everything. She has a very uneven growth at the back, so you always have to see from different angles how it's going to look, because sometimes you would think, oh, it's fine, but it's actually not. And sometimes you need to leave more hair in certain areas, because that's how you control the movement and everything else. All right. Any more questions, guys? We're almost going to wrap up like very soon, but we're going to do a little bit more details here. Now, still refining here with the scissor over comb. You need to kind of feel it in your wrist, because it's all about the feeling. So it's not really, you need to do a very particular thing. You need to go with the flow and to follow the movement of the comb. Actually, the most important thing is the left hand. So the left hand, which holds the comb, is going to decide how much you're going to cut. If you don't do it properly, then the scissors are not going to help you out, any kind of scissors that you have. So actually the key thing is your left hand if you're righty, or right hand if you're lefty, because that hand holds the comb, and the comb is the one which will decide. Right now I'm using a Sessibone comb. I got it from Hairbrain, phenomenal tool, I love it. And it helps me out to elevate all those tiny hairs to kind of create what I really need in this case. Any more questions, guys? How do you like it so far?
Got a lot of compliments tonight. Gino Ortiz, love when you have guests that allow you to do fun stuff like that. David Kinnison, who is really fantastic haircutter living in West Palm Beach, said that he scissor over comb is where it's at. Then,
yeah, baby.
Yeah. Val DeMorgan said, outstanding, thank you so much. Ruby Shy, beautiful work, thank you.
Yeah, you want to see this. It's like you go up and you see how the hair starts to fall, and it really tells you on the spot, do you have to cut it or not. So this is your crux of the matter. You want to follow the natural shape. You want to sculpt. When you sculpt, you actually imitate or mimic the sculptors who did it in marble and stuff. I was always amazed when I saw, personally, those statues in the museums in Europe or here in New York, how those artists were so amazing at carving human shapes and heads and whatnot from marble. And we're doing very soft material. We're doing hair, but they're doing everything with the marble. So it's really kudos to them, and it's like really learning lesson for all of us, I would say. And you see how things is kind of growing up nicely over here. Now let's see a little bit at the front. Now we can leave it as like that. We're gonna play a little bit. Because she has strong cowlicks here, so I want to see what I can do on both sides. Strong cowlicks.
Robin says how she loves how the cut complements the color and vice versa.
Oh yeah.
Laina says big wow.
Gonna leave it here like that.
And Meredith Kirkland says she looks amazing, beautiful collaboration. Thank you so much.
Steven, come for this moment over here.
All right.
Thank you, everybody. So we have the strong line here, which we're gonna clean, but we're gonna keep like a little bit shorter over here. So I'm gonna divide it by a section, and then slowly go to carve. Very gently, because I don't want to overcut. I want to keep this angle here. But I want to release a little bit, because those cowlicks are really bothering me now, so I just want to kick them out gently. Kick them in the butt, say thank you. So I want to save this little bit over here as a detail. Now on the other side as well. Now really, honestly, when you have a color like this, these cuts really stand out. I mean, they will stand out on their own, because they're very much of a statement for themselves. But when you have a color like this, it just really helps you out. So thank you again, Steven. It's just like phenomenal.
Oh, thank you. Dayan Nikolic says, hi guys.
Hey, Dan. This side as well. All right, so a couple of details here and there to give us that little something.
Ben Wooding saying art at its best.
Thank you, Ben. It's like it's all in your vision beforehand, and you're executing it. I was thinking about this cut for like a month because we're talking. I mean, I didn't tell that to Steven, but I was thinking about this cut, and then it ended up basically the one that we wanted to do. So talking about detailing, right? Now, a beautiful model is very, very generous to allow us to create this beautiful shape. Thank you very much for all the hair community in the world. All right, so since we liberated the face just a little bit, and the things started to fall over here, we're going to clean her up a little bit. Okay. Now we're gonna
Damien is asking, what texturizing product are you going to use?
just a hairspray.
Just a hairspray. Damien.
Just a hairspray, because I don't want to put too much of product, and hairspray is going to allow me to keep the texture and shine without feeling greasy inside, you know. But I can use any, basically. So I'm going to use a little bit of those kinks here because she has a lot of them. And one more here. So you got to deal with the natural hair. Like if she didn't have this around the key areas around the face, I'll probably work in a different fashion. But I have to kind of think about, what is the hair telling me? What can I do? I cannot just blindly follow whatever I want. Would love to, but it doesn't work like that. All right, so let's do a little bit more detail for the buzzer. My personal challenge is to do this haircut in the salon for about 45 minutes. And I like to challenge myself, not because of something else, but I just want to create that suitability, if you know what I mean. I don't want to spend like too much time in this cut, and I want to get the best. Since we're not doing a fade over here, I still want it to look very natural. But we're not fading the hair. So I'm using the back side of the comb just to kind of go down and to allow the hair to get out of the unnecessary areas. And I'm going against the grain, against the hair growth, against the pattern to establish that like a nice line that I need. Any more questions? All right, seems like people are just watching and enjoying, right?
Yes.
Thank you for making my hair color look awesome.
Yeah, thank you. So we're gonna do a nice line over here just for fun. We're not gonna do a tattoo or anything, hair tattoo, just like a little line over here.
Michelle Holloman is totally mesmerized.
Hi, Michelle. So as you see, we're not really doing too much of the stuff at the back, just kind of a little bit to kind of follow these lines over here. Because, you know, we don't want to mess up stuff. I don't want to complicate things. I like it to be perfect as much as I can do it. A little bit more cross check with the scissors again. We're using the finest teeth of the comb to access these areas here. I use a little bit of scissors to kind of reach certain hairs that I couldn't with a clipper or I didn't see. I'm always looking for that perfection that I can do.
Valda says she loves the neckline.
Thank you. You see, I wanted to use, because she has a lot of growth over here, and I didn't want to make lines and shave or whatnot. I just wanted to shave like a little zigzag, you know, shape over here. It's pretty much invisible, but it's also very cool. I think the key is in details. I think detail is everything. If you just don't have the eye for the detail, you have to practice that. One of the best things is just to go in a museum of fine arts and just stand in front of the really complex painting of the hyperrealism or something like that. And you just watch, try to figure out as many details as you can, because that's how you're going to practice and train your eye to see details. Because I think some people can stand and watch certain paintings for months and they will find new details. That's a testament of the artist, you know, how to create all that. So a little bit more texturizing, and then I think we're pretty much all done. I'm just going to change my comb. I need a little bit wider. Over here. So I'm going to scoop it up with a scissor. Start from the side and then just do point cut texturizing here. Because I like to combine that like those very straight lines, a lot of texture, to create a beautiful movement of the hair.
Ben Wooding says, great job with difficult neckline hair growth.
Thank you. Yeah, you deal with what you have. You cannot really find always the perfect everything. You know, it's so rare because everybody has a different way of how their hair grows. So you just kind of go with the flow. And that's the trick of the mastery. You're not afraid of anything. You just say, bring it up, baby. And then you go and you cut it. You have to reach that point, otherwise you'll be afraid of cuts. You will say, oh my God, she has curly hair, I don't know what to do. Oh my God, she has straight hair, I don't know what to do. Oh my God, she has, you know, texture. Don't say those things. Just learn to deal with the flow. You know how they say, if life gives you lemons, what do you do with lemons?
Make lemon meringue pie.
Exactly. Or make a mojito.
I think they'd rather have the mojito.
A little bit extra with the bangs here. Just a little bit. All right, now details could never end. You can do a lot of detailing all the time, but it's about like when to stop. Alright, a little bit of cleaning. Let's use that hairspray, Steve.
Yes, sir, right there.
Alright, Sebastian, very good choice. Love it. I love the Sebastian products. Alright, hair dryer down. Just let's see what we could do here with styling. Because we said we're just going to use hairspray, not much more. And I like the feeling that you have white towels because usually people use only black. And that's kind of cool because it gives you a different perspective of the cut or the client. Okay.
Our towel service doesn't have black towels.
All right, we're gonna take this thing out and then put some nice product to her hair, and she's gonna rock the whole thing down. All right, let's do a little bit of this. And as you see, not too much. I'm not gonna go crazy. Just want to emphasize details, and that's why I love hairspray. Giving me details here. And in this way, you see how the color pops out. I just magnificent. I love it. Just a little bit of texture, not really crazy. Now then, those details on this side. All right, guys, we're almost done over here. Let's do a quick recap, and then we can say toast and go to listen to Bruce Springsteen over here. All right, as you know, from the beginning, it was a very long hair at the back and at the front and everywhere, and we did like this nice cool pixie with a lot of different texture and color. And if you see her face over here, from all angles, you get like a beautiful color and beautiful texture. I think it looks amazing. What do you think, guys?
Bueno.
Thank you very much for watching over here. Thank you for joining us for Hair Brain. It was really